All right, we're going to learn here a little bit about solving rational equations, just some basics to get you thinking about equations and what you have to do with them. So I'm not going to have you answer every slide with the question, but a few of them you're going to have to answer an ed puzzle and we'll check your answers. All right, so what do you think x is here? Well, I'm not going to have you answer this one because it's pretty simple, right? X over 7 equals 3 over 7. I mean, obviously this x right here is 3, right? Because 3/7 would have to equal 3/7. All right. Here, obviously 5, right? 5 over 6 equals 5 over 6. Okay. So think about this one. So this time you know that because they already have common denominators in a way, each side has 8 on the bottom, you know that this expression has to equal that expression. So answer an ed puzzle for me. What do you think x has to be? All right, so obviously these equations like this with two fractions on a fraction on either side, you can cross multiply to find the answers, but because these already have common denominators, I can just basically set these equal to each other, right? I can say that x plus 3 has to equal 5, so take away 3, x equals 2. Hope that's what you answered. Okay, so here, see if you can tell me what x is. All right, so since they already had 9s there, then you'd basically just take x minus 3, set it equal to 5. And so you add and you get 8. All right, and this last one here, same idea. You get 2x plus 1 equals 7 because they already have common denominators. So you take away 1, so you get 2x equals 6. Divide by 2, so you get x equals 3. So you see the idea here is that you're trying to get a common denominator, even though it's an equation. And then once the denominators match, you pretty much don't need to look at those. You just need to get your numerators, this guy right here and this guy right here, to equal each other. So you make up an equation that says that thing equals that, and then you solve it. All right, so next page here. Hope that little thing doesn't cause me a problem. All right, so this one's separated. But again, they all have 9 on the bottom. So I'm just going to take x and then minus 1 equals, and you see I'm just getting that from here and here and here, equals 4. All right, again, they already all have common denominators. So x equals 5 is your final answer. And so if you did that, you'd say to yourself, oh yeah, 5/9 minus 1/9 is 4/9. All right, that should make sense. All right, so try to figure out what x is here. All right, so hopefully you got 2x plus 1 equals 5, and so you solve that, take away 1, and you got x equals 2. Okay, because if x were 2, this would become 4/7, and 4/7 plus 1/7 is 5/7. All right, okay, so try to think of what you know about proportions, and think about what x would have to be here. All right, so hopefully you notice that 7 is being multiplied by 2 to get 14, so you have this little problem here, x times 2 equals 10. So you have like, oh, 2x equals 10, right? So x equals 5. Another way you could have done this, like back in algebra class or in elementary school or whatever, you just crisscross multiply, right? So you get 14x equals 70, divide both sides by 14, 70 divided by 14 is 5. All right, now I'm not going to have you do this one because I'll ask you on the next page, but think about what the common denominator is for these fractions. So you got 4, 6, and 12. So type in the answer box, what do you think the common denominator is for those 3 numbers? All right, so let's take a look at those. Remember, if my denominators match, then I can just basically get rid of the denominators in my head and solve the numerators. All right, so 12. So is a common denominator. So 12, hopefully you answered that. So I'd have to multiply this guy by 3, and that means I have to multiply the top by 3 as well. Have to multiply this guy by 2, which means I have to multiply the top by 2 as well, and I want to put parentheses around that. All right, so now that all the denominators are 12, I can just forget about them, and I have this equation up top. 3x plus 2, and then x minus 3 in parentheses equals 5x. And if I solve that, I'll see what x is. So I got 3x plus, let's see, this gets me 2x minus 6 equals 5x. So this right here gets me 5x minus 6 equals 5x. So it turns out this has no solution. Okay, never mind. I just wanted a common denominator here. Forget about that I solved that there. So, but this is the same idea. It just turns out that this problem doesn't work. Sorry about that. All right, so let's take a look at this guy. Now, in this problem, notice that this guy over here has an x, and he has a 3x, and he has a 6. So I have to grow these problems to be the common denominator. The common denominator would be 6x. I can turn 3x into 6x if I multiply by 2. So I'd have to multiply this guy by 2. I turn 6 into 6x by multiplying by x. I turn x into 6x by multiplying by 6. So that's what we're going to do. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to multiply this guy by 2, which means I'll multiply the top by 2 as well. And hopefully this equation works. Multiply this one by x, and that would create this 6x common denominator. So multiply him by x. And multiply this over here by 6. Doesn't matter which side. I'm just kind of doing the convenient side, the more normal side to look at. And so this multiplies by 6. So let's just take this equation on top because all my denominators match now. So I'm taking 2 times 4 plus x plus the next one is 5x equals 6 times x minus 1. And this one, it'll work. Okay, so here we go. All right, so I get 8 plus, let's see, 2x plus 5x equals, and then this turns into 6x minus 6. All right, so I get 8 plus 7x over here equals 6x minus 6. I'm going to subtract 6x. So I get 8 plus x equals negative 6, and take away 8, and I'll be done. So it turns out x would be equal to negative 14. So you're not going to have to do that just yet, but in class we'll practice more. But I just want you to get the idea of the common denominator. All right, let me make sure how many things I have left here. I got 2 more. All right, so in the chat, I want you to see if you can type me the common denominator. All right, so hopefully you notice that the common denominator, you need an x minus 3. And you need a 2 and a 4, but if I just put a 4, I could take care of it because 2 goes into 4. I could grow this 2 into a 4 if I needed to, and I will. All right, so let's take a look. Let's see what we'd have to do. So to get x minus 3, this first guy right here, to turn into this, I'd have to multiply by a 4. So 4 down here means I have to put 4 up here as well. 4 on the next fraction, 7/4, I'd have to multiply by x minus 3. So I'm going to do that here as well, x minus 3. And here, 2x minus 2 times x minus 3, I have to multiply this one by 2. So I'd have to multiply the top by 2 as well. Okay, so now that the bottoms all match, I can kind of like not think about them anymore, and I'll just look at the top. 4 times 5x makes me 20x, plus I got 7 times x minus 3 equals 2 times x is 2x. Okay, so I get 20x plus 7x minus 21 equals 2x. I get 27x minus 21 equals 2x. I'm going to take away 2x. So I get, not 25, 2x, sorry. So I get 25x. And I'm going to move that 21 to the other side so it becomes positive 21. So my answer is 21 over 25. All right. So again, you're going to be doing that in class with me, but really you can see it's just a simple equation to solve a lot of times. All right. So last one here. Okay, so go ahead and type in the chat for me what you think the common denominator would be. All right, so hopefully you notice that these two guys want a 3, so I'm going to do that. This guy wants an x, so I'm going to include an x. And both of these guys want an x plus 2, and they can share it. All right, so there's my common denominator, and that's the first decision I have to make. All right, so let's make a choice here. This x plus 2 right here, how do I grow him to become this? Well, I have to multiply him by the 3x. So he's going to get a 3x, which means the numerator also gets a 3x. Okay, this guy, 3x is already there, so I'm just going to multiply him by x plus 2 to make them all the same. So he gets an x plus 2 as well. And over here, it has a 3 and an x plus 2, so all I need is this little x right here. So multiply that by x. Okay, so, and I guess I can put on the bottom as well. All right, so now they all match, so I'm just going to steal the top away. So I have 3x times x minus 1 plus 4. Oh, no, not plus. That could be a big no-no. Minus 4 times x plus 2 equals 2x times x. I'll just say 2x squared. All right, so let's see what we got. 3x squared minus 3x. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. And I got 2x squared. All right, now, I notice I have x squareds here. So I'm going to clean this up, and I'm going to collect everything on one side. If I want to solve this, I have to factor. So on the left side, I still have 3x squared. Negative 3 and negative 4 make negative 7x minus 8 equals 2x squared. So I'm going to have to take away 2x squared and get him over with this guy. So this is gone. I have 0. And then I have 1x squared minus 7x minus 8. All right, so every once in a while, if you're super lucky, you will get to a problem where you have to factor to solve. So we will factor. And you guys know what multiplies to 8 and makes 0. So why don't you put that in the answer box for me. Factor this for me in the answer box. Okay, so you should have gotten x minus 8 and x plus 1 in any order. X plus 1, x minus 8 in any order. So my two solutions are x equals negative 8 and negative 1. And we'll talk about in class to make sure that these are valid solutions. We'll be looking at the denominator here to make sure we're not doing anything wrong with the denominator, like making it go to 0. But these two actually would be fine, and we'll talk about that in class. So I will see you there.